Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on behalf of Studying Tactics and its team. This is Abdul Mois, currently an MBBS student at Dow Medical College. In this video, we will be discussing our test that was held on 2nd of Feb 2025. Okay, so let's move on. These all are free of cost mock tests. If anybody is not aware of these mock tests, he or she may go and find the WhatsApp group link in the description below. Before entering Krebs cycle, pyruvate is decarboxylated into. So let me tell you one thing that before entering Krebs cycle, pyruvate needs to be transported into the mitochondria. So in order for this pyruvate to move into the mitochondria, it needs to be decarboxylated and an NADH is also formed in this step. Pyruvate is basically decarboxylated into acetaldehyde, which then converts into acetyl coenzyme A. That is the substrate for oxaloacetate in the Krebs cycle. I hope you have memorized this Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle is also known as tricitrate cycle. Okay, so let's move on. The next MCQ states that the equilibrium constant of a reaction is 300. Now remember that this equilibrium constant is a constant value. It does not depend upon the concentration of the reactants or the concentration of the products or anything else. It depends on temperature, of course. So this is what we write. It is a constant K, which is basically equal to concentration of products over concentration of reactants, if anybody does not know. The volume of the reaction flask is tripled, the equilibrium constant is. So if you are tripling the amount of reactants, these reactants will in turn increase the product and by reacting with each other, and this equilibrium constant will remain a same constant. So 300 will be the right answer. Next MCQ states that phosphorylation of ADP means formation of ATP. What does the question states? Question states formation of ATP during glycolysis occurs. So which basically phosphorylation is occurring? Photophosphorylation, this is basically happening in plants, not in glycolysis. Oxidative phosphorylation, let's wait. Chemiosmosis is basically due to hydrogen gradient, and this substrate level phosphorylation is the right answer. Substrate level phosphorylation, yani there is a substrate and there is certain, you may say, phosphorylation, and ATP is basically forming. Not oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation is basically the one that happens in the formation of ATP from NADH and FADH2. That is basically happening in electron transport chain. Basically, I would say electron transport chain. Let's move on to another MCQ. The next MCQ states that the starting from end product of glycolysis. Now, what is the end product of glycolysis? What is the end product of glycolysis? The end product of glycolysis is basically pyruvate. What is it? Pyruvate. How many molecules of carbon dioxide are produced up to the formation of succeed in a single Krebs cycle? So a single Krebs cycle has two decarboxylation steps. If I tell you the order, so it is the method that I have used to memorize it is oxa sit cis iso sit cis. I don't have enough space, I guess. Iso alpha alpha succeed succeed again succeed alpha succeed succeed Fuma and then Mela. So that's the methodology basically I have used in order to memorize this Krebs cycle. So this is basically oxaloacetate, citrate, cis aconitate, isocitrate, alpha ketoglutarate, succinyl CoA, succinate, fumarate, and malate. These are the basic steps. Now from here, this is a six carbon compound. This is a six carbon compound. This is also a six carbon compound. Here, first decarboxylation step, second decarboxylation step, and so two decarboxylations are happening. But wait. Before entering into the mitochondria, this pyruvate also decarboxylates, as we have discussed earlier. So, one carbon dioxide will come in order to form acetaldehyde or acetyl CoA, and two carbon dioxides are coming from the Krebs cycle. So, in total, we will be having three carbon dioxides. That is our right answer. That is our delta option. Okay, let's move on. Find the odd one out. So I have memorized it as हालीने की रब से फरियाद, रब से फरियाद. So it is hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. So lithium also belongs to group 1A. Sodium also belongs to group 1A. This is lithium, this is sodium. Rubidium is also belonging to group 1A, but calcium is belonging to group 2A. So the odd one out is delta. That is your right answer. Let's move on towards next MCQ. Next MCQ states that which of the following is not the characteristic feature of dynamic equilibrium? So, dynamic equilibrium is an equilibrium in which the forward reaction, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of reverse reaction. So, the rate of forward reaction is equal to the rate of reverse reaction. So it is basically inquiring about not the characteristic feature of the dynamic equilibrium. So it is characterized by a constant macroscopic property. Yes, it is a constant macroscopic property. On macroscopic level, you cannot judge whether the forward reaction is going on or the reverse reaction is going on. You will judge it by looking at the microscopic level. So next statement states that it is only achieved in an open system. No, it is only achieved in a closed system. Why not in open system? Because open system allows exchange of materials and heat. So if there is any kind of exchange of material or heat energy, the system may not reach a dynamic equilibrium. So it is not the characteristic feature of dynamic equilibrium. Let's move on to other options. It can be obtained in either direction. Yes, it like for reverse reaction and forward direction, it can be achieved in a closed system. Yes, it can only be achieved in a closed system. So beta will be our right answer in this MCQ because it is not a characteristic feature of dynamic equilibrium. Let's move on. Next MCQ states that out of two bulbs, there are two bulbs. Out of the two bulbs that are located in a house, sorry, one glows brighter. Okay, one glows brighter. Let's this bulb glow brighter than the other. Which of the following has larger resistance? So the larger resistance will be of this bulb because this bulb is not growing brighter. If I provide equal voltages to both the bulbs, because in a house the wiring is in a parallel combination, let's say this also is getting 120 volts and this also is getting 120 volts. V is equal to IR. So the greater the resistance, the lesser will be the current and lesser will be the brightness of the bulb. So greater resistance will be of this bulb. Why? Because it has low current. Now in this case, there is less resistance. Less resistance means that the current is high, and if the current is high, so the bulb is shining brighter and brighter. So the larger resistance will be of dim bulb. Dim bulb. B is wrong. The dim bulb. Brighter bulb will have lower resistance. Same resistance is not possible. Brightness does not depend upon resistance is completely a wrong statement. So Charlie will be our correct option right in this MCQ. Let's move on. Now the next MCQ states that G3P is converted into glucose phosphate. And now basically remember that G3P being converted into glucose is the reverse of glycolysis. Now it is not glycolysis, it is the reverse of glycolysis, and it is basically involving the formation of the energy. And if it is involving the formation of the energy, it must be happening in the plants and not in animals. In animals there is glycolysis, that is the major process of energy consumption, but in plants there is a specific process in which the energy is made it via the sunlight that converts G3P back into the glucose, or light phase reactions basically. So not mitochondria, not Golgi, not ER, but the chloroplast is the right answer, where energy is being made by using the sunlight. Next MCQ states that which of the following types of mammalian cell does not carry oxidative phosphorylation? As I told you earlier, oxidative phosphorylation is nothing but electron transport chain. Where is it happening? It is happening in the mitochondria, I would say. And NADH and FADH release their ATP. Now, in cardiac muscle cells, there is mitochondria, oxyntic cells, there is mitochondria, neurons, there is mitochondria present, but in erythrocytes or red blood cells, most of the organelles are absent in order for the hemoglobin to take the place, and hence these RBCs are incapable, cannot undergo electron transport chain or oxidative phosphorylation. So, our correct answer will be alpha, that is erythrocytes. Okay, let's move on. Next is, if the resistance of certain length wire diameter of 5 mm is 10 ohms. Okay, so the diameter was 5 mm, which led to the resistance of 10 ohms. Okay, the diameter is changed to 10 mm. Now the diameter is double. Diameter is what? Double. The new resistance will be, what will be the new resistance? So let me tell you one thing, that resistance is inversely proportional to area, or the formula is R is equal to rho L by A, if anybody does not know. So R is inversely proportional to A, but you know that the area of any kind of sphere or circle is pi r square. And if you basically doubling the diameter means you are doubling the radius. Look at this diagram. If this is a circle, this will be its radius. If this is a circle, this will be its radius. So in order to double the diameter, you are going to double the radius basically. So if the radius is doubling, the area is becoming 4 times. What is the area becoming? 4 times. Or let me prove it. Area is equal to pi 2r square whole square. What is the radius now? Radius is double. Area is equal to 4 pi r square. So the area is now 4 times. What is it? 4 times. So if the area is 4 times, by using this formula, resistance will also be reduced 4 times. So what was the initial resistance? The initial resistance was 10 ohms. The initial resistance was 10 ohms. So 10 ohms, 10 by 4, you get the answer, that is 2.5. That is our delta option. Let's move on towards our next MCQ. For reversible reactions, the if the concentration of the reactants are doubled, okay, concentration of reactants is doubled at constant temperature, no temperature changes there, the reaction will not stand still, the reaction will not slow down, but the reaction will speed up in the reverse direction. No, it will not move in the reverse direction, but in the forward direction. As you may see, these are the reactants. This is a reversible reaction forming the product. If you are increasing the reactants, the reaction will proceed more towards the right direction. It will produce more towards the right direction. So delta will be the right answer, not in the reverse direction. Find the missing term. Now, this is a very good question. I also needed some time in order to solve this MCQ. This was a wonderful but a really tough MCQ. Let's see how we are solving it. For this purpose, this is 3 power 1 plus 1. What is 3 power 1? 3 power 1 is 3. 3 plus 1, 4. What is 3 square? 3 square minus 1. Now this time minus 1. 3 square, 9. 9 minus 1, 8. Now see the order, 4, 8. Now 3 cube. What is 3 cube? 3 cube is 27 plus 1, 28, minus plus 1, then minus 1, then plus 1, then of course minus 1. Now what is 3 power 4? 3 power 4 is 3 threes are 9, 9 threes are 27, 27 threes are 81. 81 minus 1, that gives you 80 answer. Now 3 power 5 plus 1 again is equal to, now 3 power 5 is 81 multiplied by 3, that is 243. 243 plus 1, sorry, 244 will be your right answer. I forgot to plus 1. Now 3 power 6 minus 1, so 244 multiplied by 3, you get the answer 729. 729 minus 1, you get the answer 728. What will be the right answer? 728. 728. So your correct answer will be delta. What will be your correct answer? The correct answer will be delta. Okay, so let's move on. Although sugar, that is intermediate between respiration and photosynthesis. So an aldo sugar, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, that moves forward in order to form pyruvate and moves backward in order to form once again glucose phosphate. What does it form? Glucose phosphate. We have discussed both the things. This is not glucose, this is not dihydroxyacetone. Dihydroxyacetone is basically keto sugar, not an aldo sugar. Again, fructose is a keto sugar. So these both are eliminated by this particular thing. And you have your right answer as Charlie. Let's move on. If I were a doctor, now this is a conditional sentence. I told you to watch the video. If you have not watched the video, I would still recommend that please do watch the videos. Now this person, if I were a doctor, agar मैं doctor होता, I would serve humanity. This person is basically giving a suggestion. This person is basically giving some advice. So I told you in my video that suggestions are basically given in type 2. In type 2, zero conditional facts. Type 1 are simple present and past. You may watch the video. Type 3 are basically regrets. Type 2 are basically suggestions and advices. Okay, let's move on. A solenoid is at a potential difference of 60 volts. Okay, it's at a potential difference. Let's write down the values. This is our potential 60 volts, and the current flowing through is 15 ampere. Now here we have got the current, that is 15 ampere. Then the resistance of the coil will be, so this is a formula. V is equal to IR, a very basic formula. 60 volts is equal to 15 ampere, and resistance you have to find 60 by 15. You will get your answer, that is 4 ohms. 4 ohms, that is your resistance. That is your alpha option. What is your option? Alpha. A for apple. Let's move on. A chemical reaction is catalyzed by a catalyst X. So this is a biochemical catalyst or a non-biochemical catalyst which is catalyzing or speeding up a reaction, that is chemical reaction. Hence X increases activation energy. This increase in activation energy will lead to a slower speed. So no, does not affect equilibrium position of the reaction. Yes, it does not affect the equilibrium position. It does not increase the product, decrease the product, increase the reactant or decrease the reactant. It does not affect the equilibrium position. Increases rate constant. No, rate constant is a constant and depends upon temperature, not on the catalyst. Reduces enthalpy. No, it has no effect on the heat of the reaction. So this is also a wrong option. So the right option was beta. Let's move on. Two 110-volt light bulbs. Okay, let me draw two light bulbs. Where should I draw them? Should I draw them here? Two 110-volt light bulbs. Okay, these are two 110 volt light bulbs. 125 watt and the other 100 watt. So let's suppose this is a smaller one, this is 25 watt and this is 100 watt bulb. What are connected in series? Okay, so these are connected in series. Here the wire is going and here it is connected to a battery. So this is a series combination in series to a 110 volt source then. So this is our 110 volt battery. The current in the 100-watt bulb is greater than that in 25-watt bulb. Remember, my friends, if there is a series combination, the current will remain same. The current will remain same. So in series combination, the current remains same. The current in 100-watt bulb, Arey yaar, the current remains same na baba. It has told us that it is in the series combination. Where is it written? It is in series combination. No current change will be there. 100-watt bulb has a greater resistance. No, 100-watt bulb is a larger bulb and it will glow brighter. So in the same current. So it has not got a greater resistance but a lesser resistance. So this option is also wrong. So our correct option will be delta, that states that 25-watt bulb has a greater resistance. Delta, delta, delta. Okay, let's move on. A wire of resistance R is cut into two equal parts. Its resistance becomes R by 2. What happens to its resistivity? Now remember, resistivity is a constant. Resistivity depends on the material of the wire. So if the resistivity is a constant and if the wire is cut into two equal halves, the material of the wire will not change. If it is made up of copper, it will still be made up of copper and not of gold. So copper wire, if cut into two equal parts, will be of copper, so the resistivity remains same. So our correct option will be delta, that is the option. Let's move on to our next MCQ. Deamination of amino acid takes place in. So remember guys, deamination always happens in the liver. What is the process of function of kidneys? Filtering blood. Filtering blood. What is the effect of pancreas? Releasing enzymes and releasing enzymes basically. Gallbladder storing bile for digestion. Whenever fats are there, this bile is released. Don't be in such a hurry. The sentence contains an adjective of. So don't be in such a hurry is basically demonstrating something. Don't be in such a hurry. It's basically demonstrating someone. It's basically pointing out someone. It is not an adjective of a number. It is not distributive, not distributing something, not of quantity, but a demonstrative adjective, that is delta option. Okay, let's move on. Chronic disease are not a concern. A chronic disease, a disease that prevails longer, a disease that prevails for a longer time is of concern, bro. A disease that is in our body for long term, for long period of time is of concern. I will go with definitely false. This statement is definitely false. Of course, B. Now these kinds of MCQ, again you have to practice lots and lots and lots of MCQs, then you will be able to solve these kinds of MCQs. ATP formation during oxidative. Now again, oxidative phosphorylation is ETC, involves what? It basically involves chemiosmosis, the hydrogen proton pump, the hydrogen proton gradient, the hydrogen proton pump, which moves the hydrogen from higher concentration to lower concentration, in turn generating ATP. This is known as chemiosmosis, not light reaction, not dark reaction that are happening in the plants, not fermentation, that is anaerobic respiration. Now the next question states that six 1.1 volt cells with internal resistance 3 ohm are each connected in three parallel branches of two circuit each. Two cells. So let me draw the diagram for you. These are my two cells. These are my two cells. These are my two cells. Then they are attached in parallel with each other in pairs. Okay. So let me convert this circuit into a parallel shape for you guys. And let me tell you another thing, that each single battery or each single source has an internal resistance of you may say 3 ohms, and each with the resistance external circuit. Resistance of the external circuit is 2 ohms, 2 ohms, 2 ohms, 2 ohms, and 2 ohms. Okay, let's move on. So the formula that I am going to use to in order to find this particular current will be EMF is equal to potential difference plus capital I small r, that is internal resistance. Okay, in order to find this internal resistance, I will be using, let me change the color for you guys. I will be basically using the formula that is used to find equivalence resistance. In order to find the equivalence resistance in series, I will be watching the formula V is equal to IR. In series, basically, the current remains constant. So I will be messing up with this current, and this is a simple trick in order to find out whether the resistances will be added or they will be added by their reciprocals. This is a simple trick. Let me tell you this. So in series, I will be messing up with this current, and I will see that the resistance is in numerator. It is in not reciprocal. So resistances will be added. So 3 for this circuit, internal resistance was, where is it? Internal resistance was 3 ohms. So 3 for this circuit and 3 for this circuit makes a total of 6 ohms. 3 for this, 3 for this makes a total of 6 ohms. 3 for this, 3 for this makes a total of 6 ohms. Now these three resistances are attached in parallel. So in parallel, let me rewrite the formula. V is equal to IR. In parallel, basically voltage remains constant. So I will be messing up with this voltage, blah, 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 blah. And I will see that I is equal to 1 over R. This is not a formula but a trick to memorize whether the resistances will be added by the reciprocals or in the numerators. So I will be adding them, like you may see that parallel may, they will be added as reciprocal. So 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 6. So that will give me a value of 1 by R equivalence. Remember, it is also equal to 1 by R equivalence. This will give us a value of 3 by 6, which is equal to 1 by 2, which is equal to 1 by R equivalence. Now in order to find R equivalence, I will be taking reciprocal on reciprocating both the sides. R equivalence is equal to 2. That will be my right answer. That is your internal resistance. Now you have find out the value of internal resistance, that is 2 ohms. You have to find this current. Now let's move on, solve this equation further. E is equal to, what is the potential difference, equal to capital I capital R plus capital I, that is your current, small r. Okay, let's take I common from this equation. EMF is equal to I R plus R. Now you know the value of capital R, that is given, that is 2 ohms. You know the value of small r that we have found right now. And you know oh, you don't know the value of EMF. Let's find out the value of EMF right now. So basically this is 1.1 volt, this is 1.1 volt. Collectively that will make us a collective EMF of 2.2 volts. This will also make 2.2 volts and this will also make 2.2 volts. Any confusion? No. Now, basically, if I say that the net EMF will be 2.2 volts, will you agree with me? No. You will say that, bhai, 2.2 volts is only of this particular circuit and 2.2 volts is of this and 2.2 volts is of this. But let me tell you one thing, that in parallel, if the batteries are connected in parallel, this circuit wants the E net potential difference across the resistor to be 2.2 volts. This also wants the same thing, 2.2 volts. This also wants the same thing, 2.2 volts. That's why the net EMF will be 2.2 volts. EMF is only added in series. EMF is only added in series, not in parallel. That's why we connect our batteries in series and not in parallel. We connect our batteries in series and not in parallel. Okay, so we have got the value of EMF, that is 2.2 volts. If anybody has any confusion, he or she may ask me right away. Okay, so 2.2 volts is equal to I, that is common, R, that is 2 plus 2, that will make you 4. Okay, let me change the color for you guys. I think that's not really visible. So let's change it to black. 2.2 is equal to 4i. Now 2.2 divided by 4 will be equal to I. Now here comes a difficult equation. Here comes a difficult, you may say, mathematical problem to solve. And I told you already in WhatsApp group that there will be certain MCQs that will be difficult to solve for you guys. So in order to solve this one, I have made a proper video on which I have explained how to solve such difficult MCQs. I will be sharing the link in the description below. Now the first step is that forget that there is a decimal point 22 by 4. What will be the answer? The answer will be 5.5, or you may solve it right over here. 22 divided by 4. So 4 5s are 20 minus 20, that will lead to 2. You will make a point right over here, that will make you 20, and 5.5, that will again make you 20. That's your answer, 5.5. But in reality, the MCQ was not regarding, you may say, 22. It was regarding 2.2. So what will be the right answer now? So in order to solve this, you will basically move the point 1 to the left because it was 2.2. So the correct answer will be 0.55. That is your Charlie option. Okay, let's move on. So our next MCQ states that oxidation of SO2 by O2 is exothermic reaction. The yield of SO3 will be maximum if. So let me write down the equation for you. SO2 plus O2 forms in a reversible reaction SO3, and for balancing it, 2 moles of SO2 and 2 moles of SO3. I have just balanced the equation. Okay, so in order to further move on, you need to see that the reaction is exothermic exit. So the heat is basically leaving or it is in the product. In order to maximize the yield of SO3, you can reduce the other product, the byproduct, that will lead the reaction to move forward. Or in other case, you may basically uh, increase these reactants. Yes, you may increase these reactants, or in other case you may basically, let me change the color, you may basically increase the pressure. What? Increase the pressure. Why? Because increasing the pressure will lead to move the reaction towards a direction where there are less moles. The lesser the moles, the higher the pressure. Okay, so basically this is 2 moles, this is 1 mole, these are 3 moles, and these here in the product side we have got only 2 moles. So increasing the pressure will lead to the reaction moving in forward direction towards the lesser mole. So we need to increase the pressure and decrease the heat. Let's see what's the right answer. So the temperature is increased? No. So the temperature is reduced? Yes. Pressure is increased? Yes. Our beta option is the right answer. Let's move on. A steady current is flowing through a conductor of non-uniform cross-section in the charge passing through any cross-section per unit time is. So the charge passing through any cross-section per unit time, that means it is asking about current that is passing through any cross-section area in unit time, is basically current is directly proportional to this area. Why? Because the resistance is inversely proportional to area. V is equal to IR. The lesser the resistance, the greater the current. So the greater the area, or you may say from here, the greater the area, the lesser the resistance, the lesser the resistance, the greater the current. You may see from right over here. So you need to increase the area and it is directly proportional. So directly proportional to the area of the cross sectional, not square, not independent, not inversely proportional. So alpha will be the right answer. Let's move on. If meat is written as steam, so how was this meat written? So this was MEAT, meat. So meet में first word was last, and second was this, third was this, and fourth was this. This was the order. Now then Bale is written as Bale. So follow the same order. What's the first letter? That is E, second A, third L, fourth B. EALB. Is there any option? Yes, there is an option, that is delta. EALB. So delta is the right answer. A chemist who is concerned with large-scale manufacture of useful compounds is primarily interested in. So the basically the scientist wants that his large-scale manufacture produces useful products. Useful products. He is not concerned with anything else. Minimizing the energy consumption? No. He wants maximum products. Minimizing the reverse reaction? Yes. He needs to minimize the reverse reaction and increase the useful products. Maximizing the backward reaction? No. Decreasing the acidity? No. He needs just the product. So B will be the right answer. Beta, B, whatever you say. A copper wire is stressed to make it 0.1% longer. The percentage increase in resistance will be. So basically, you have made the copper wire 0.1% larger, which is basically equal to 0.001. If the initially the length was 1, then the after increment it has become 1.001. So basically, if you increase the length, the area automatically decreases because you have stretched the wire. As you may see that here was the wire, it has a certain width, a certain area, and a certain length. If you will stretch the wire, the length, the area will become shorter and the length will become longer. So the wire stretches, decreasing its cross sectional area. That's the basic thing you need to understand right over here. Let's change the color. So basically R is equal to rho L by A. Now R prime, after increasing the length, the R prime will become, resistance prime will become rho same, resistivity is same, material is same. L will become 1.001 L divided by 0.99 A. So area will be reduced and length will be increased. Area will be reduced by 0.001 and length will be increased by 0.001. Dividing these both, you will be getting the answer, that is zero point 0.2. In order to solve such difficult equations, I have made a video. Once again, you can watch that and solve such equations. If you find any difficulty in solving such equations without any calculator, you may consult me. Zero point 0.2. Okay, how did I solve it? 1 point. Okay, you may see the video. It will be a long video if I explain it right away. Which of the following statement is wrong? Remember, it is inquiring about wrong statement. For an acid buffer solution, the pH can be increased by increasing the concentration of the salt. Yes. If you increase the concentration of the salt, this salt will be dissociated, and this will lead in turn to increase the acidity of acidic buffer. The pH will be increased and it will move towards a base. Let me give you an example. Let's say a salt is CH3 COOCl. This is a salt. If you increase the concentration of this particular salt, this will lead to its dissociation, and this will lead to CH3COO negative plus CH3CO positive and Cl negative, which is a conjugate base, So increasing the base will lead to increase in the pH. For a basic buffer solution, the pH can be increased by decreasing the concentration of base. Yes, decreasing the concentration of base, the pH will be increased. Okay, basic buffer solution. Buffer capacity of a buffer solution is maximum when the ratio of salt acid to base is 1. Yes, if the salt and the particular acid or base are in 1:1, if they are in 1:1, then it is said to be maximum buffer capacity of that particular buffered solution. The number of moles of acid or base required by 1 liter of buffered solution to alter its pH by 1 unit is called buffer efficiency. No, it is not buffer efficiency, but not, it is not buffer efficiency. It has a certain other name. So delta is a wrong statement. Delta is a wrong statement. Delta is a wrong statement. What was the name? Buffer, buffer, something like that. You can search it. The name has gone out of my mind. A heater coil is cut into two equal parts, and only one part is now used in the heater. The heat generated now will be. Okay, so in order to find this heat, I will be using the formula that is, let me tell you, work done is equal to power multiplied by time, and work done is basically heat generated. You don't just get confused. I square RT. One formula is this. The other formula is work done is equal to V square by RT. Now remember one thing, in order to solve such MCQs, because power is also equal to I square R, power is also equal to V square by R, power is also equal to IV, but IV is not a good option right over here. So if I cut the coil into two halves, I'm basically reducing the length. I'm reducing the length into two, which will lead the resistance to become half, Why? R is equal to rho L by area. So reducing the length will reduce the resistance. So if the length is halved, the resistance is also halved. If the resistance is halved, then this current will also change, because the resistance is changed, the current will also change. So this formula is not a good formula because two things are being changed, but I will use this formula in order to make the correct answer come out. Here voltage is same because the electricity you are providing to the heater will not change. Time is same because the heater now used in the heater, the new heat generated now will be, time is same. Resistance if halved, if the resistance is halved, then R by 2, this is a denominator of the denominator, this will come in the numerator, and the heat generated will be twice, 2 times the heat generated will be twice. So our correct answer is double delta. But wait. I told you that I will be using this formula too. Now resistance is halved, but current will be doubled. Why? Because if I reduce the resistance, then the current will also increase. So work done T is constant. Work done or heat generated, this is a square 4I square R by 2 multiplied by time. So 2 and 4 gets cancelled. Again, you have got the answer 2 times. 2 times. So delta is your right answer. Let's move on towards another MCQ. A precipitate is formed when the solution becomes saturated. Saturated solutions have no precipitates. Product is nearly equal to the solubility product. No. Product is no. The ionic product is less than the solubility product. No, the ionic product should be greater than. The ionic product exceeds the solubility product. Yes, delta is the right answer. It is a general statement. No, I don't think so. It needs an explanation. Ionic product, the solute you are adding, it should exceed the solubility product or the solubility capacity of that solution. The net gain of energy from one molecule of glucose during aerobic respiration in prokaryotes. Remember, in prokaryotes, 2 ATP are not utilized in moving the substrates into the mitochondria as in eukaryotes. So, prokaryotes have a net ATP generation of 38 because of no double membrane bounded organelles. No double membrane bounded organelles. They are mesosomes in turn, which is not a double membrane bounded. Electron transfer chain in mitochondria used to create a proton gradient and move the oxidation of NADPH and producing ATP from that particular thing. So creating a proton gradient, delta is the right answer. Chemiosmosis, we have already discussed it. The final fate of glucose in yeast when it is deprived of oxygen. So yeast basically yields 2 ATPs. So 2% is the right answer near me. Beta will be the right answer. No further explanation. Basically, a glucose molecule has the capacity of generating more and more and more ATPs. So basically, we say that the number of ATPs it is generating is basically its yield. It produces almost 100 ATPs. 100 ATPs. A single glucose molecule has the capability of producing almost 100. It's around about 100 ATPs. Okay. So let's move on towards another MCQ. Now, next MCQ states that if 12 NADPH are used in Kelvin cycle, the spelling here is wrong. Kelvin cycle, Calvin Kelvin cycle. Then how many glucose molecules will be formed? So, in a single Kelvin cycle, basically in a single Kelvin cycle, you form one single G3P, and two G3Ps collectively form one glucose molecule. Okay, so in order to form one glucose molecule from Kelvin cycle, you need to run this Kelvin cycle twice. Is this clear? Yes, it is clear. And one Kelvin cycle requires 12 NADPH molecules. How many? 12 NADPH sorry, 6 NADPH. I'm sorry. One Kelvin cycle requires 6 NADPH molecules to run in its reduction phase. But in order to form one glucose molecule, you need to run this Kelvin cycle twice. You need to run this Kelvin cycle twice. Two Kelvin cycle will require 12 NADPH molecules, and two Kelvin cycle will lead to form one glucose molecule. So the correct answer is alpha, that is 1. Alpha. Let's move on. Which of the following is the final acceptor of electron in respiratory chain? It's not accept, it's acceptor. So final acceptor of electron in respiratory chain. Remember, this is respiratory chain is oxygen. Is oxygen. 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 Okay. The stage of cellular respiration producing maximum ATP. So, this chemiosmosis is basically the stage of cellular respiration in which NADPH or FADH are producing the maximum amount of ATP by using FADH2 basically by using the proton gradient pump. Proton gradient pump. This is the maximum ATP producing step. Krebs cycle 1 ATP. Oxidation of pyruvate, no ATP. Glycolysis, net 2 ATP production, and total 4 ATP production. Chemiosmosis leads to all the rest of the ATP formation in our body cells. Reversible reaction is said to have attained. This is attained. How many mistakes are there? Oh my god. Attained equilibrium when? So when backward reaction stops, no, backward reaction does continue at microscopic level. Both backward and forward reaction take place at equal speed. Yes, this is an option of interest. Both backward and forward reaction stops, no. Concentration of each of the reactants and program become equal, no. So beta is the right option. Beta is the right option. Both reactions take place at the equal speed. Among the following hydroxide, one of which has the lowest value of KSP, yani lowest KSP. Basically, KSP value is lowest of beryllium. How I have memorized it? Beta, where is the cursor? Beta, mange, car, scooter, bap, razi. So basically, as we move downward, the solubility increases of alkaline earth metals or alkali metals. So solubility down the group increases. Solubility down the group increases. So the least solubility will be of beryllium hydroxide, that is BuH2. That is our option of interest. That is delta. The battery of EMF 6 volts. Okay, EMF is 6 volts. And internal resistance 0.4 ohm. Okay, internal resistance 0.4 ohm is connected to an external resistor of 2.9 ohm. Okay, 2.9 ohm. What is the power supply to the external resistor? Look, there are certain calculations. Again, I will be writing the formula from here: I capital R plus small r, and not repeating the previous steps. What was the value of EMF? 6. What was the value of current? Is this given? No. So we have to find the current. We have to find the current. Yes, we have to find the current. What is the value of 2.9 and what is the value of this 0.4? I will be finding the current from here, and then power supply. For power supply, I will be using the formula. I can also use the formula P is equal to V square over R, but so I may use this formula P is equal to V square by R, but I don't know this value of V, and for V I have to use this formula once again. V is equal to IR, and again I don't know the value of current. 6 is equal to I multiply by 2.9 plus 0.4, that will make 3.3. Now 6 by 3.3 will give me the value of the current. Now how will I solve this? Let's change the color of the pointer to black. Now let's move to the table of 3. 3 2s are 6, 3 1.1s are 3.3, sorry. So 2 over 1.1. How am I going to solve this further? Okay, so let's leave it right over here. Let's suppose that the current's value is 2 over 1.1. I have the formula P is equal to I square R. I will be using it. P is equal to 2 over 1.1 whole square multiply by what's the value of R? The value of R is external resistance is 2.9. Okay. Now 2 square is, if you have watched my video, then these kinds of equations will not bother you enough. 2 square 4, 1.1 square again in my video 1.21 multiply by 2.9. Okay, so now this equation, this is you may say difficult one. So let's suppose this is 1.24 divided by 1.2. What will be the answer? Now again, the trick, forget the decimal point. I am forgetting the decimal point. No decimal point is here. 4 by 12. I will be applying the table of 4. 4 ones are, 4 threes are. Now there was a point right over here. I cannot neglect it. So if the point is in the denominator, I will be moving my point further towards the right from here. So I will get my answer as 10 by 3. 10 by 3. 10 by 3 multiply by 2.9. Multiply by 2.9 is still there. My answer will be 10 multiplied by 2.9, 29 by 3. Now 29 by 3, how am I going to solve this? Okay, you may solve this like this too, but if you are watching my video, you will not be solving like this. You will be solving with some tips and tricks. I will be mentioning the video link in the description below. So you found your first number, that is 9. Is it 1? No. It is 5? No. Is it 12? No. It's 9. So Charlie will be the right answer. What will be the right answer? Charlie will be the right answer. I suggest you literally watch that video, and you will be full of tips and tricks in order to solve these kinds of difficult mathematical equations without using the calculator. Look, I have solved in front of you. I have no calculator with me, but I am still capable enough to solve these kinds of difficult equations. So there must be something fishy going on. The addition of NaCl to AgCl decreases the solubility of AgCl. Why? So there is a common ion chlorine in both these ions. So this will lead to common ion effect. As solubility product decreases, no. As becomes unsaturated, no. Due to common effect of chloride, and yes, Charlie is the right answer. As solution becomes supersaturated, no. So Charlie is the right answer. Common ion effect is there. Fill in the blank with appropriate verb indicating past perfect tense. Past perfect tense. Had is compulsory, not had been. So had walked is the right answer. He had walked home from work regularly since he joined his job. Not been. This is past perfect continuous. Walked, not been. This is past tense. So alpha is the right answer. 20 ohm resistance takes 5 minutes to boil a given amount of water. How much resistance will be required to boil the same amount of water using the same source in 1 minute? You have reduced the time period, but you want the resistance to change and boil the same amount of water in 1 minute. So how are you going to solve this one out? Again, you will be using the formula Q is equal to V square over RT. What is this basically Q? This is W, that is power multiplied by time. I have already explained you earlier and I'm not going to repeat every single thing. That will make the video too long and you are getting bored and you will not be watching my video full and then I will be depressed. Okay. So work done is equal to V square over RT. Is the voltage constant? Yes, you cannot change the voltage of your home, right? Now you have to change this work done by changing this resistance and the time. You have to you don't have to change this work. You have to utilize the same amount of heat. So resistance will be directly proportional to time from right over here. Like resistance will come over here and time will be going right over here. Reducing the resistance will reduce the time. Okay, so R1 is directly proportional to T1, R2 is directly proportional to T2. Let's say R1 is 20 ohms, 20 ohms was taking 5 minutes. Now R2 you have to find it. Now how much resistance is required for 1 minute? Cross multiplying the things, 20 is equal to 5 R2, 20 by 5 is equal to R2. That will give you the answer, that is 4 ohms. 4 ohms. Here is the answer, that is Charlie option. Now look at once again, look over here. Your work done is constant. Your V is constant. These both are constant. So I made the this equation from right over here. From right over here. Look at this. This is a constant. This is a constant. So R comes right over here and R becomes directly proportional to the time period. Okay, so let's move on. 4 ohm was the right answer. That is Charlie. When the equilibrium constant is small, it indicates. So equilibrium constant K is equal to concentration of products over concentration of reactants. So when this concentration is small, then the products are small and the reactants are larger. Reaction is at the start. Yes, you may say that. Reaction is at the equilibrium. Yeah, reaction is at equilibrium. That's why you have found out the value of the K, but it does not. It has no relation with small K value. It's basically asking what does small K value indicate? Not one. Reaction is at the no reaction. Very little forward direction. Yes, this is basically the major thing that you have to see right over here. That the reaction has moved a very little in the forward direction. That's why your K, the value that you have obtained at equilibrium position, is really very low. So delta will be the right answer. Very little forward direction. Location of phytyl tail in chlorophyll B is thylakoid membrane. Thylakoid membrane. Thylakoid membrane is the location of the phytyl tail of the chlorophyll B. So beta will be the right answer. Owing to his bad luck, he got into accident on eve of his examination. Now, which type of sentence is this? This is a simple sentence. Why? Because owing to his bad luck, this is a phrase. Owing to his bad luck, अपने bad luck को मद्देनजर रखते हुए. There is no subject plus verb. If there were both the subject and the verb, this might have become a clause, and a clause might have made the sentence a complex sentence, but here it is only a simple sentence. You have to read out types of sentences in grammar for MDCAT. It is an important topic. So this is a phrase and this is one single clause. So simple sentence consists of one single independent clause. So this is a simple sentence. Choose the correct spelling. Pharaoh. So Pharaoh is basically your rulers of the Egypt, and one pharaoh was Pharaoh. Pharaoh was the Pharaoh is one pharaoh. Not all the pharaohs were Pharaoh. but one pair was also named as and most commonly known as Ron. The final acceptor of electron during non-cyclic electron pathway. This is light chain pathway. This is Z scheme, not respiratory pathway. So the final acceptor of electron in this particular thing is what is it? NADP positive. So delta is the right option right over here. So there is a difference in respiratory chain. It was oxygen. In electron pathway, cyclic pathway, light chain pathway, it is NADP positive. Which of the following statement is not true? Conductance is the reciprocal of resistance and it measured in Siemens. Yes, this is the correct statement. It is asking about not true or false statement. Ohm's law is not applicable at very low. Yes, very low and high temperature does not lead to Ohm's law. Ohm's law is applicable to semiconductors. No, Ohm's law is not applicable to semiconductors. So Charlie is the right option. Ohm's law is not applicable to electron tubes and discharge tubes. Yes, Ohm's law is not applicable. Yes, this is a correct statement. So Charlie will be our right option. Supply the okay. Have we left anything? No. Supply the correct antonym for the capitalized word. This is basically in bracket. What can be done to alleviate the situation? Now, basically, alleviate means you are depressing something. You are basically दबा देना किसी चीज को. You are basically not aggravating the situation. You are not basically imposing the situation. You are basically trying to resolve the situation. So basically aggravating is its antonym or opposite, alpha. Now what are the meanings of other word? Anticipate कुछ अपने हिसाब से अंदाजे लगाना. Clear, crystal clear. Manipulate to force someone to your ideas. You are manipulating someone. You are forcing your ideas on someone. That is not the thing. That's the end of our discussion. Thank you so much for watching this video till the very end. We will be meeting you soon in our next Wednesday free of cost mock test discussion. Thank you so much for watching this video once again. Allah Hafiz till our next discussion starts. Allah Hafiz.